Hey guys, Hyperscape just received an update today and I thought I'd keep you guys up to speed with all the changes. Some of these changes are quite massive gameplay wise and there are some really nice quality of life improvements as well. In my opinion, the biggest change of them all is the Nerf To Aim Assist. This won't affect console players, but players like myself who play on PC with a controller will be affected by this. The difference isn't game changing at all, but I do think the nerf was a bit premature. The reason is, at the moment, using a controller on PC puts you at a huge disadvantage. For example, we can't ADS while jumping unless you've got a custom controller, and there's no instant melee button, so we're just left hopeless during the melee event, which happens at least twice per game every single game. Breaking barriers is a nightmare as well, especially when you're running away and trying to shake off opponents. There's probably an example playing in the background, and as you can tell, it's very costly and makes for a frustrating experience. For those reasons, the keybind disparity between inputs should have been prioritized before nerfing controller aim assist. Like I've mentioned, the nerf wasn't a huge deal, but I feel that there are more pressing issues at hand. I'm just hoping there's a fix around the corner sometime soon. Additionally, they've added an aim assist slider which gives us the option to set the strength of aim assist. So if you feel the aim assist is a bit too intrusive and interferes with your aim, then you can reduce it to suit your personal preference. They've also added the option to turn aim acceleration off. For those of you who may not be familiar with this setting, aim acceleration artificially increases your sensitivity when you max out your sticks in a certain direction. This usually aids low sensitivity players and allows them to make quick 360 turns, but if your sensitivity is relatively fast already, you may not want the sensitivity boost. Keep in mind that a consistent sensitivity all around is far more predictable and easier to build muscle memory for. Therefore, I've turned my aim acceleration off, but I do have to admit that the difference is barely noticeable. I'm not too sure if this is a bug or my sensitivity is just too fast to tell the difference. Either way, I'll experiment with the option more over the coming days. Another controller option added with this update is response curves. You can now set your response curve to linear or keep it as standard, which is the default response curve. I briefly tried out the linear response curve and I can definitely say it's not for me. However, it may suit your preference, so give it a try and do let me know how you get on with it. Moving on to weapon changes, the Mammoth shotgun got a hefty nerf and deservedly so. The one-shot potential has been removed, and to give you a better idea of where it stands, the current max level Mammoth performs identical to a pre-patch base Mammoth, so you're still capable of 2-tapping players, but you'll need to be a bit more precise and land the majority of your pellets to be effective. Also, to compensate for the reduced damage, the Mammoth has an extra round for each fusion to make it slightly less punishing to use. As most of you know, the Hexfire got nerfed too, and its magazine size got reduced across the board. Presently, the base Hexfire carries 100 rounds instead of 150, and the fully fused Hexfire carries 180 rounds instead of the previous 270. This significantly reduces the duration of sustained fire by at least 50% and will require Hexfire users to be a bit more precise with their aim, otherwise they will be left open to counterplay. They've also reduced the aim assist further, so in theory the average hit rate will be slightly less than before, but I'm not too sure if this will be enough to shift the console meta, but I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. The Protocol is another weapon that got nerfed and had its infinite one-shot range reduced down to 150 meters. So it's not capable of one-shotting from the opposite side of the map, and to add to that, the sniper now displays scope glint when aiming down sight. This will act as a warning and lets players know when they are in danger of being one-shotted. I think this is a great feature and will certainly reduce player frustration, but I do think the size of the lens flare could be toned down a bit, just enough so that the flare doesn't mask the player's body entirely and isn't completely detrimental to the sniper either. Moving on, the Riot one got a nerf as well, but the difference is marginal at best and doesn't really impact the game much. It's definitely not going to stop anyone from running to Riot 1, but more so just make it less devastating against low HP players. And the only other weapon that got tweaked is the salvo. It received a small buff to make the grenades a bit more predictable, and the detonation radius is a little bit larger than before. Don't think these changes will make the salvo more viable than it already is, but rather less random and more user friendly. And lastly, Ubisoft made some great changes to the endgame. They've increased the crown bearer cooldown from 150% to 300%. This will significantly reduce the hack spam in the end game and make it easier for you to catch your opponents. To add to that, the crown timer has been increased from 46 seconds to 60 seconds, and again this will overall reduce the amount of crown victories and make it less of a frustrating experience. A desperately needed change in my opinion, and hopefully this will lead to more unique end games. And that basically concludes this update. Let me know what you guys think of the new patch. Is it going to get you back playing Hyperscape, or are there other features you're patiently waiting for? Let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you later. Take care.